4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to another episode of the Capital Gains Tax Solutions podcast, where we believe most high net worth individuals and those who help them, they struggle with clarifying their capital gains tax referral options. Not having a clear plan is the enemy, and using a proven tax referral strategy such as the Deferred Sales Trust is one of the best ways for you to exit highly appreciated real estate businesses, cryptocurrency, so you can defer hundreds of thousands to millions of tax, or help your clients, friends, and family do the same, so they can create and preserve more wealth. Hey, we're also streaming Expert CRE Secrets podcast as well, where we're bringing on cutting edge ways to sell real estate, to list real estate, to transact more deals, to help you as a commercial broker or real estate agent do more transactions. Hey, I'm excited about our next guest. He is out. He has an extensive background in real estate. In fact, he formed his group in 1989 as a New York licensed real estate brokerage. And he specialized in retail leasing and consulting and concentrating in revitalization in densely populated suburban and urban areas, and mostly in New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. He went on to do additional over 1.2 million square feet of retail space and developing and rehabbing shopping centers and so much more. And now he's going to be talking about Quantum Listings, as he's the CEO and founder there. Please welcome to the show with me, David Perlmutter. David, how are you doing?
Very good. Thanks for having me today, Brett. It's really great to be here with you.
Absolutely. And for our listeners getting to know you for the first time, would you give us a little bit more about your story and your current focus?
Absolutely. So I started out in commercial real estate in 1986, leasing office space. And when the tax laws changed in 1988 and the office market crashed, I had my very first career pivot within real estate, which was to start doing more retail leasing. My father was in the supermarket business, so retail came very naturally to me, and started going out to the International Council of Shopping Centers in Las Vegas and getting involved with people out there and meeting lots of my peers. And then I started developing shopping centers, and started out small with a nice little 28,000 square foot project that had been started by somebody else. And then we sort of ratcheted it up. One of the advantages of starting out in the early 90s with developing shopping centers is that all the tumult in the industry between the savings and loan crisis and the advent of big box stores is that there was a lot of displacement of projects and things that got off the ground initially, ended up hitting bumps in the road. And I partnered with an architect and planner and a tax attorney, and the three of us, and I was the leasing specialist. So we each had three different skill sets that were very valuable to people who had started projects and couldn't get them finished. Sometimes it was a entitlement problem, sometimes it was a leasing problem, sometimes it was an equity problem. The three of us were able to join in to other projects other people started. Then we initiated some projects of our own. We really focused on supermarket anchored retail and introduced big boxes into some of those projects as well. And it was a great experience. And then as time went on and bigger people who had cheaper capital were able to outbid us on stuff, so we ended up just running with what we had. And as the market continued to change and the internet became more of a factor, we decided that we were going to get out of our shopping centers. So we sold off those in a very deliberate manner, and did great with that. And then I was looking for another way to build equity, and that landed on Quantum Listing, which was something that I started. And at the time, we started about 7 years ago. The other listing alternatives, there weren't as many as there are now, and the behemoth that shall remain nameless was getting more and more expensive, and their app wasn't so that great. So we started out initially as an iOS app, and then as I realized that more people love their phones for lots of things, but data entry was not one of them, we then launched a full-fledged website. And I love talking to our customers, and our customers are always filled with great ideas for new features, things that they'd like to see in a listing site. And so over the years, we've added a lot of those features, whether it was something as simple as being able to add private notes to a listing, or so that only you could see, or having networks of brokers based on a state, so that it was really easy for you to find the most relevant listings as well as the most relevant people to your practice. And so those were some of the things that we did.
Excellent. That's excellent.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Yeah, and I think what I'm gathering here is you've been in the business of solving real estate problems for many years, and you've been through a lot of real estate cycles, and you've been able to do it in a creative way. Is that a fair summary so far, David?
Absolutely. It's if you are stuck in your way of doing things, you won't survive in real estate.
Absolutely. So let's dive right into the number one secret of quantum listing, right? And what really separates it from the competition and what's out there. And one of your things you say here, it's the new crowdsourced real estate listing platform for commercial real estate agents, owners, and tenants. So talk to us about the difference between quantum listing as it pertains to stuff like LoopNet or CoStar.
Yeah. So one of the things about quantum listing that was really important to me is that it be very affordable for everybody, so that it was kind of a no-brainer decision. So for $89.99 a year, you can add an unlimited number of listings. Now, on CoStar, you can add listings for free, but if you want them to show up on LoopNet, you have to pay a lot of money. I'll just leave it at that. It sort of changes depending on who you are and I think what year it is. And we wanted to have our pricing very transparent, which it is. And then we're also very customer service oriented. We do have ways for you to spend more money with us if you would like to. If you don't want to add your listings yourself, and you're not syndicating through BuildOut or RealNext or Sharp Launch, or some of the other syndication partners we have, we'll add them for you for a small upcharge. You can advertise your listings on the Google Display Network through us, which is really kind of neat because it shows up in your market, and for $25 or $50, you'll get 10,000 plus views on other websites, and you get a bunch of clicks on that. It's much more cost effective to use the Google Display Network than Google search ads. It's a little more random in terms of who you get, but when you are approaching 20,000 people, there's going to be somebody who is right for your listing.
Excellent. And so you can go to quantumlisting.com, and I'm on if you're watching us on YouTube, we've got the pricing page up, which breaks it down, and we've got the how it works. And so, okay, so besides price, what else are you really focused on as far as I like the idea of the tenant, of the owner, of the broker, right? All of that together. Talk us through how you're connecting those three, and maybe how that differentiates from maybe a LoopNet or a CoStar.
Yeah. Well, I think because I've come from a brokerage background instead of a business school background, I understand that the commercial real estate industry is a collegial industry. So, yes, it is competitive, but you have to work with your colleagues in this industry. And I took that attitude to the tech side also. And so we do collaborate with some of these other marketing companies that help provide listings, so you don't have to do repeat data entry. So that makes it really easy for the real estate brokers to get their listings onto our site. And then every single one of our listings is available without a paywall. You don't have to register to see the listings. So we get at least half of our traffic from Google and other search engines because and they're going right to your listing instead of having to do their search every brokerage in the market. So, and then once you get onto somebody's listing, if that's not right, we make it very easy for you to find other comparable listings. And
excellent. So you're more like Google, you're more Google friendly, or you're going to be up in the search results, and then it's going to go directly to you. So it's kind of creating maybe some more freedom and more efficiency within searches. Is that a fair summary?
That is very well said, sir.
Okay, excellent. I like it. I think that's great because that's huge, right? Because if you're doing searches, how does it connect? Does it connect with YouTube too, or Google and YouTube kind of one and the same in your world, or what?
So YouTube, we do have a YouTube presence where we do webinars, and so you can search. We've also done a bunch of these marketing, especially during the pandemic. We started doing this where we would have these marketing sessions where brokers could come on and present their listings, either for sale listings or for lease listings. We would do them sort of geographic or asset class based, and it was a great way for people to present their stuff. And if it's on Quantum Listing, it's super easy for us to show, as you're talking about your listing, show some of the stuff about your listing that you want to show. And we also send out to other social media. We send out to LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter the listings. Twitter goes out right away. LinkedIn and Facebook have limits as to how much you can post in a single day from the technology that you use. So you get put in a queue for those. But because especially since as the real estate industry becomes millennial and Gen Z based, they're not necessarily just looking for things on Google. They're also looking on the social media where they already are, and so we get a bunch of traffic from that. And we think that it helps the older brokers who aren't necessarily as involved in social media to get their stuff to a very wide audience through that.
Excellent. Love it. Yeah. Quantumlisting.com, everybody. It's quantumlisting.com. I'm here with David Perlmutter, and all things, searches, listings, and opportunities to connect it another way, which is real estate these days, right? I mean, you got to get local there as well. But in order to find it, you're going to search online to start. So, David, excellent. I want to shift into anything else you want to add about Quantum Listing that I didn't already ask you?
I'm in your hands. Take it away. You've been asked great questions so far and keep me on my toes. So
okay, cool. So we're going to shift to capital gains tax deferral. You've been in the industry for a long time, right? Yep. And so here at Capital Gains Tax Solutions, we're really passionate about helping people have options when they go to sell, and not have to feel trapped by capital gains tax or the 1031 exchange. So I'm curious, what would you say has been you or friend, family, client's biggest frustration when it comes to the 1031 exchange?
Oh, it's definitely sourcing things in a timely manner, because it's you have that small window, and you have to identify it. You have to do your due diligence, and then hopefully come to terms with somebody before the IRS clock is up. So I think that is really the biggest challenge. And we recently partnered with a company called NXT CRE, and we're sort of a little matchmaking group where
David, are you still there? We might have lost David. He was in a deep thought there. By the way,
on their website. Hold on, I'm here.
Are you back, David? I think you're back.
And sorry about I do have very good high-speed Wi-Fi, but I don't have a Ethernet cable. So, but hopefully it'll be nice and reliable for the rest of our talk. So we do this matchmaking between people who have the 1031 requirements and who have the listings. But when I got a chance to talk to you last week, I was really intrigued by this new strategy, which you introduced me to, which you've been working on with, for several years, about the deferred statutory trust, which I think is, fascinating. And I can't wait to, help you spread the news about that.
Thank you, David. Yeah, it's called a deferred sales trust, not to be confused with the Delaware statutory trust, where they're both DSTs and they kind of get commonly misunderstood. So, yeah, we can save a failed 1031 exchange. It can work for Bitcoin or cryptocurrency or primary homes, or of course, investment real estate or business sales. And unlike a 1031 exchange, like the shotgun wedding, you don't have to run around and get engaged in 45 days and married in 180. And we call that typically the sell high, buy higher in 180 days with more debt, more liability, more trash, more toilets. And it can be a challenge, right? If the deal doesn't make sense, why buy it? And so just because of the tax, where we give you the chance to just sit on the sidelines and have optimal timing and buy whenever you want. If you want to learn more about that, anybody go to capitalgainstaxsolutions.com. That's capitalgainstaxsolutions.com. And you get your deferred sales trust exit plan going right away. Download our free ebook. That being said, David, are you ready for the lightning round?
Fire away.
All right. Knowing what you know now, if you could go back to your 25-year-old self, what's the one golden nugget you'd make sure to tell yourself to do?
Take a few more risks. I thought that when interest rates started falling, I thought that they were going to go right back up to where they've been historically, and I think I missed a lot of opportunities to buy things because I became risky once I had my first, half a dozen developments in bag. So
got it. What's the number one book you've recommended or gifted the most in the past year?
Number one book I would say that I read, it was, I think because of the pandemic, it was a history of Spanish flu, because I wanted to see if there was anything I could glean from that would give me some sense of what would follow the pandemic.
Well said. What did you learn from that? One thing that you learned?
Well, the one thing is that the Roaring '20s followed the Spanish flu, and so I think it's a good time to, if you are in the restaurant business, to expand your restaurant portfolio, because I think that once people have to stop worrying about the spread and wearing masks, I think restaurants are going to be doing very, very well. There's a lot of pent up demand, that and travel.
Excellent. Next question. What are you most curious about right now?
What am I most curious about? So I would say that I'm very curious about the metaverse. And real estate in the metaverse. I don't understand anything about it yet, and it is definitely on my list of things to get familiar with. Is it, a shell game? Is it something real? Why do people see value in it? And these are things that I would like to understand a lot better, because I don't want to be a dinosaur.
Great curiosity. I think that's really well said. Second to last question. What's the number one leadership quote or theme that you strive to live by?
Well, I think my father had a great quote, and that was that it is much less expensive to retain a customer than to get a new one. And I think that is made me very customer service oriented in my brokerage business, and it definitely in quantum listing also, because these relationships are basically they're irreplaceable.
Very well said. Last question. After all your success, helping all the people you've helped, developing all the deals and businesses over all the years, how do you stay centered in your values, and how do you stay encouraged to charge forward and reach new heights?
Great question. I have a very smart wife and 4 really smart kids, and their BS detector is super high and very, very efficient. So if I start, believing the hype, they're very quick to bring me back down to reality.
Absolutely love that answer, David. It's been more than a pleasure getting to know you a little bit more. I want to encourage you to keep helping the people you help and to keep making listings and deals and opportunities for investors and for owners and for agents more accessible through quantumlistings.com. For our listeners who want to get in touch with you, can they find you on LinkedIn? Go to quantumlisting.com. What's the best place for them to find you?
All right. Well, definitely David Perlmutter at LinkedIn. Make sure you get the right David Perlmutter, and not the guy who wrote Grain Brain. On Twitter, I am at Pearl Prop and at Quantum Listing. And Facebook, I don't spend a lot of time on, but I'm also on Facebook, and look for our videos on YouTube. It's the Quantum Listing channel on YouTube. There's lots of great info about quantum listing there, and not only that, we have a wonderful roster of guests, and I'm hoping that Brett will be a guest on the quantum listing, one of our webinars soon, so that he can share more about the Deferred Sales Trust with our audience.
Thank you, David. Yeah, absolutely. It would be an honor to be on your show. Thank you for being on the show. And I also want to thank our listeners for listening to the episode of the Capital Gains Tax Solutions podcast, also streamed on Expert CRE Secrets podcast, where we believe most high net worth individuals and those who help them, they struggle with clarifying their capital gains tax deferral options. They struggle with being forced in the 1031 exchange. They struggle with being able to diversify and retire from their businesses, all capital gains tax deferred, or they have some huge estate tax, and they really want to have an answer. And we believe we have that answer, and it's called the Deferred Sales Trust, and it's amazing. If you want to learn more about that, you can go to capitalgainstaxsolutions.com. You can download our free ebook. We also have the brand new book coming out called Building a Tax Deferred Exit Strategy, and we have some amazing people like Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank in the book, financial advisors, commercial real estate owners and operators and developers, and just and a couple chapters for me too. You can check that out coming to Amazon near you or online near you real shortly. If you could do me a favor, if you could rate, review, subscribe, if you could click the little like button, that helps the algorithm to know that this content is doing well, and it helps us to spread the word to help more people get some freedom when they exit their highly appreciated assets. Please do that, and please share this with someone who could be of inspiration today or help today.